This material is made available to you by or on behalf of the University of Melbourne under Section 113P of the Copyright Act 1968. It may be subject to copyright. For more information, visit the University Copyright website.
Is our Deputy Head Academic Teaching has changed the system. That this year I'm teaching the Warman subject first semester and second semester. So that's just FYI. The little orange light is on. So, hi everyone, Colin Burville. I prefer being called Colin if you want to address me. I am your lecturer and subject coordinator for Design for Manufacture, semester 1 this year. I'm still working up my team of colleagues that will help with the teaching support. Similarly to mechanical design, this is a subject that's heavy on doing it. If I could trust that everyone was just working hard, doing assignment work, it would be just an assignment-based subject. But as it is, there's an exam at the end as well. We get through 3 distinct topics this semester. The first one, structured approaches to material selection. There is an assignment DP1, Design Project 1, associated with that topic. And it's meant to be easy. It is not meant to challenge you too much. The first assignment is due at the end of week 3. So we get started straight away into doing. By the end of, it's actually Monday week 4 when you hand it in, DP1 gets submitted. You will think, gee, that's easy. But DP2 gets a bit harder, DP3 gets a bit harder again, and DP4, I hope that the class will think, oh, okay, he's made it a little easier. All 4 assignments, design projects or DPs are available for your review at the LMS website now. So, those who are keen, we've already had a look through. Second topic, design for structural integrity. That is, we could otherwise call it machine element design. But with a twist, there'll be some guest presenters coming in to talk about how the equations that you use, if you like, the tutorial type problems that you would otherwise do are only a small part of what the designer has to achieve in practice. And lastly, quality. And the essential message is that for the mechanical design subject, a successful design is something that will work in an engineering context. That which is realised matches that which was specified. Now, in the real world, design for quality really only leads to a successful outcome when the customer wants to buy it, whatever it might be. It might be a product or something you buy in a shop. It might be a system. It might be a mine or an airport or a building, whatever it is. Only successful when the customer is satisfied. And there's another guest presenter called Philip Chen who's going to come in and give 2 lectures. He's just retired from Ford Australasia. He was the quality control manager for Ford Australasia, which encompasses India, Southeast Asia, Australia, New Zealand. So a pretty senior guy, and we're lucky to have him. And he'll come in and give a couple of presentations about that. And then I'll also talk to you about a more simple set of quality measures. Simple stuff like, do parts fit together as we would like? And how do we as engineers ensure that when we have an assembly, the assembly actually works? So, they're the assignments. I've introduced them already. What else is... Now, this bit. For those who have read ahead, some of the questions, they could have just been tutorial questions, some of them, in each of these assignments, but others are a little bit more open-ended. Open-ended is what got me thinking about it. That is, problems that are closer to what you, as design practitioners, will have to deal with. There might be too much information, there might be too little information, but nonetheless, you have to use engineering judgment, best guess, committee maybe, authority, an authority figure just saying, we're going to go that way because I say so. Just totally emotive. That's, you won't be doing that here, but that's the sort of stuff that the practitioner engineer has to deal with. And there they are, John Weir and Peter McGowan, both ex-Orica Engineering. They will talk, I can tell you, John's going to talk about a gigantic pressure vessel design he had to work on. Peter's going to talk about some of the nuances of material selection that he's had to deal with in his career, and Philip down the bottom is going to talk about quality. So, this is my objective. In red is the important thing. Open-ended problems, more so than the Warman in last year for mechanical design. You'll also be looking at some simple stuff, you know, build up that if you like, the repository of knowledge of machine element design that you would find in textbooks like Shipley. Design for quality I've talked about, and I've already talked about this vaguely defined, and there it is in blue. And by the by, 90013, design for integration, is where we extend that a little bit further. And in fact, I call that subject the gearbox subject, where teams of students will design and build a working model of an industrial gearbox. Just so you in short on this, look, I've got an exam content area at the LMS website, but it's not available to you yet. I'll make it available week 10, week 11, because you don't need it yet. You know, you will be busy working on the day-to-day rather than looking too far ahead. But just so you know, closed book, it's dictated to me as to what calculators you're allowed to use. That's them. For international students, or even domestic students, I don't know why you need it, but people whose second or third language is English, you're welcome to bring in a foreign language or bilingual dictionary. However, don't write in it. The invigilators will take it away if there's any writing in it. And this is the first time I've ever had to put this last one in. After, I'm getting old now, I've been doing this for a while, and just last year in an exam, one of the people that makes sure no one's cheating said to me, how come they've all got protractors and other compasses? Well, my students have been doing it for decades. It should be written on the front cover. So now it is. So you have explicit permission to take in drawing tools. 60% for the assignments, that is DP 1, 2, 3 and 4 are each worth 15%. They're all equal. And as per the rules of the university, you've got to pass them all to pass the subject. It's in the handbook. There's an opportunity for extension for a person who just, to be blunt, loses a bit of motivation or focus and fails an assignment. You've got a chance to redeem yourself, resubmit it for a maximum 50% pass, and then you're fine. For the student who submits, who doesn't, there's an issue with the department and not submitting at all, that this resubmission opportunity is available for those who have submitted, not for those who haven't submitted and the deadline has expired. And those people we have to make special arrangements. You don't have to buy this textbook. You can if you like. It's a very good book. I recommend it. It will be needed for design for integration. It is of use now. For those who are not wealthy, this 2011 or this 2008 edition, they're also great. The editions haven't changed that much since my very first edition from way back when. The essential concepts are the same. There's nuanced changes. There's with greater knowledge, of course, some of the more experimentally focused equations have tightened and improved, but that's about it. And also for DP1 material selection, this is I'm not saying buy this, I'm just saying look it up. Various editions of Ashby are available as downloads via our library, so by all means have a look at that. Don't buy it, have a look at it, it's just for your reference if you're interested in this stuff. I might just close that door, I thought that student was walking past. I like teams of 2 for this, for DP assignments in this subject. You don't have to work with the same team. If you, I say this a lot, if you and your best friend think, oh, we'll work together, and you are an H1 type student, you're desperate for marks, like I was when I was your age, and your best friend is, yeah, I just want to get by, a pass is good enough for me, well, you're going to have conflict. So I suggest, why put your friendship at risk for the sake of, just make it ease? Work with someone who shares your aspiration. It's, no judgment on my part. Some people, to be blunt, I know people that were slackers as students, but they had fantastic social skills, the gift of the gab, great with networking, and earn multiple times my salary. Hugely successful careers. There's no judgment about what people's particular skill sets are, but here and now, it's beholden upon me to give you this advice. If you like soft skill advice, work with someone who shares your aspiration. Have I written it there? No, but I'll say it. Let's just say there are 3 of you, and in any class, that always I run the risk there'll be an odd number of students, and there has to be at least one team of 3. So I'd rather have a team of 3 than a solo student working on all that material. And that's okay, but with special, can't just do it, you've got to ask. And the response is always yes, but you don't get the same mark for the same work as a 2-person student. You've got to do more. You've got to present better, higher quality, more effort, delve in a bit deeper, demonstrate that you've done 3 students worth of work compared to the 2 students worth of work. Now some people just say, yep, fine, happy to do that. Others say, I don't like the sound of that. And either is okay. I'm giving you opportunities to make decisions. And I just want you to make a decision, one way or the other. It's fine. Next semester, 4 or 5 students. So that's why that idea of 3 this semester is what I've talked about. I'll talk about this in a sec longer. Sorry, it's so many words, but the idea of collusion and plagiarism. We'll get to that in a sec. There is something called a engineering cover sheet. Hopefully everyone's seen it multiple times. Everyone's expected to put a cover sheet on the front of your assignment, sign it, read all, and be aware of all the stuff that's written thereon. This material is important, and there it is written in a way that you still can't read because there's so many words. Plagiarism and collusion. And we're at a university, and I say this, I've just said it yesterday to 3rd year students, and I know most of you studied my 3rd year subject, so I'm sorry I've got to say it all again. The difference between being a good researcher or a good presenter of reports and a cheat or a plagiarizer. You can have material from someone else, a reference, and the material is presented in your report, and if you provide a citation, an acknowledgement, a references section, or a literature review section, that's excellent work. If you put that same material in your report and don't acknowledge, that's regarded as cheating, stealing, plagiarising. Such a simple thing. And I think I don't know why, some people think, oh God, I want to be a big person and I don't want to have to say that it's someone else's. Wrong. It's the exact opposite. Me and all the people on this side of the lectern that teach you regarded it as, as the best way to do it. Quote references, quote it well, and that is acknowledging your sources. You build up knowledge on foundations created by others. And don't think that it's just you. An Australian Vice-Chancellor lost his job because of plagiarism. So it happens at all levels. Collusion. That's when someone does the work, someone else just grabs it and cuts and pastes that work into the same assignment. Turn It In can pick up on a bit of that. But in my world of design, collaboration is another. Collusion versus collaboration. I love collaboration. I want students to talk amongst themselves, work through problems. If anyone here is involved with the Melbourne University racing, the Formula SAE cars, collaboration is required all the time. If you've worked with another team of 2 students on something, and you think, God, we've done all this work and we've got a lot of similar stuff, what do you do next? Well, the first thing you do is ask one of the mentor tutors, hey, this is what we've been doing, and we've got all this work done. It's more than 2 people's worth of work, by the way, but it's going to look pretty similar in our reports. The mentoring tutor and I will both say, that's fantastic. You've done lots of extra work. You've demonstrated the value of it being in a team. You just acknowledge in your report that you worked with Team X, and Team X says, oh, we work with Team Y for this part of our assignment. Fantastic. No collusion, acknowledgement. But don't think that you'll get big ticks or top marks if it looks like 4 people have done the work, but it's still only the equivalent of 2 people. You've made it a bit easier for yourself, rather than you've pushed a bit harder and gotten more done through the power of 4 people doing the work. When you're submitting, this is just minor, when you're submitting your assignments, the way I'd like you to do it, because then it's easier for you, we don't lose stuff, is the name of your submission. DP1, your ID number, your partner's ID number, PDF in. Makes it easy for us to then make sure that the person who deserves the mark gets the mark. I know, sometimes, it always happens, we make mistakes. A student will email saying, oh, there's no mark for me. My partner got a mark. And I say, yep, sorry, we made a mistake. That's why I've introduced this, to try and minimise that. Because, it's an awful thing to go into the website and try and find what your mark is and there's nothing there. Feedback time, kids. I know it's, we can always change this. This is, Sarah's got to go in a minute, so I'll try and do this fast. Lights on. It's best we got. Now, you see what's up on the screen. Design drop-in sessions, they are not tutorials. Most people know this. They are active working environments where teams of students go to normally room D207, which is a big open space, find a table, work on your assignment, ask the roaming mentors questions as need be. Now that means you don't have to be there for the whole time, but I do need to know, Thursday, 9 a.m, who's got a class, who's got a clash? Hands up. Hands up nice and high so I can see, because there's not many. So Thursday, 9 a.m, it's not my preferred time of day either, but there's not too many people that don't have a class. So it's okay, question mark. 10 a.m, who's got a class, who's got a clash? Nice and high, quite a fair few. Yes, okay. 10 a.m, so question mark cross, not really. What about 2:15 on Thursday? Hands up, who's got a class, who's got a clash? There's a few. Yeah. And then 3:15, who's got a class, who's got a clash? 1, 2, so 3:15 is sort of getting better. So, this is part of it's a little reason why I do it this way as well. I know students talk about how every tutorial I have a clash with, and that makes it hard. But I didn't see any person put their hand up for each of 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock, 2:15, 3:15. Am I wrong? Is there someone who has a lecture at every one of those times? You are you're stuffed. Sorry. Eric, a lecture or tutorials or? They're all lectures. Because there are only times. That's okay. I can promise you that from what I heard from what I saw from the class, 2:15, 3:15 are obvious go-aheads. Now, I am not a morning person. 9 a.m. is not my favourite time of day. And there's little point in me scheduling demonstrators to turn up if you all say, yeah, I'll come, and then no one comes. If I scheduled a session for 9 a.m, would you come? Now, I don't expect you to answer it, but this is something to think about. I've just given you my bit of truth. I'm happy to have 10, 2, 15, 3:15, and I'm also happy to schedule people to be in the room at 9, but there's little point they're just doing their own PhD work if you're not going to turn up. Anyone like to offer an opinion? Yes?
I'd probably turn up at 9, so I know that not that many people are there. You get some quality time.
That's a good call. Okay. So I've got a tick for it. 1 tick for 9. That's really good. Thank you for that. All right, we'll leave that as. Thank you. I'm sorry about you've got lectures all day on Thursday. That's really shitty. I wish I had more. Wish I had more power over the timetable. Anywho, for the first assignment, the easy one, we have a bit of software called Cambridge Engineering Selector that we make use of, and we only have 100. If they rip us off a bit, it's a rip-off license. We only get 100 seats worth of the software, and this is where it's located. Most of them are in room B102. It's a computer lab, a little bit out of the way, in block B. And we have some separate bookings on Tuesday, 11 to 1, and 4:15 to 6:15. So I'll do this a bit more quickly because it's only really one day that we have to worry about. Who's got a class at 11 a.m. on Tuesday? No one. One or two. Is that you raising your hand there? Yes, thank you. What about midday on Tuesday? Couple, yeah. Okay, what about 4:15 on Tuesday? Few. Now, of those 3 that I mentioned, okay, let's go with 5:15. Who's got a class at 5:15? Gee whiz. I think we won't be running 5:15 then, because there's more. Thank you. So, my plan, everyone, is to have some sessions run next week, and I'll probably go at 11, 12, 4:15. And each of those sessions will start with a little mini lecture on how to use it, so 3 opportunities to use it. And at this stage, unless I hear from the class, that we'll do that next week, and the week after, in week 3, when there's a bit more assignment work to do, depending on demand on the Tuesday, Carol Barry gave us Wednesday as well, a couple of hours. You can make use of that with priority, but as to whether I put design mentoring tutors in the room or not depends on the demand on Tuesday, and you'll get an email. Thanks for that. And this is why I spend a bit of time on it, because otherwise I could have set something up at 5:15 and most or a lot of people are at a lecture. B102 is hard to get to if you've never been there before, but all you got to do is type student PC Lab B102 into a search engine, and you can get this kind of stuff, which I did, which helps you get there. Okay. Design drop-in sessions don't occur in the first week of each 3-week cycle. I can imagine people have just finished an assignment, would like to do something else for that first week, and I found that people don't turn up in that week. The schedule that's in the back of your subject outline documents sort of indicate that. If you don't have a team yet, the discussion board, I'm zipping through this to try and get this lecture finished so you can come down as a lectern at the end and meet and greet other people. And as I said earlier, 3 people, I always say yes, but I always put the caveat, and it's there. You don't just get, as long as if 2 people, teams will think, hang on, we're working harder for the same amount of mark. That's inequitable, and it's not equitable, and I agree with that. Everyone's seen this already. It's up on the website, and I just did another email out just before this lecture. And Farouk has kindly allowed his email, his uni email, to be used for you to send your team formations into. And while are we doing it this way? It helps with the LNS. When you do turn it in, we have groupings, and then it's easier for our markers to get it done faster, so you can get your marks quicker. Now, teams. Sarah, thank you, Sarah, for coming in and saying, just being here. You might as well stand up. You've bothered to come in. This is Sarah. Sarah is commencing a PhD, and she's kindly agreed to be part of your tutoring, mentoring, demonstrating team. So thank you. Now, did Naomi come in? Are you here, Naomi? Oh, naughty. Thanks, Sarah. You can go if you want. It's 1:30. I got here just in time. Thank you. Sarah's not my PhD student, which is a shame. But Farouk and Saida, that's Farouk who's sending your team emails to. And Saeed has recently started. Sahil is, he's already got his PhD, and he's kindly doing some work with me. And we've also got Aditya. Is that right? Yeah, stand up. Now, Aditya is, this is where, I'm just going to tell you something about Aditya. He hustled me, knocked on my door. And I was like, oh, I'm so busy, but he is so polite. I have to invite him in. And it's that polite insistence. And I'm not saying that every potential, sort of like the boss, it's not like every boss will react in that way, but I do. I think it's really important. You just can walk along with the masses and just do what everyone else does, and you'll get by. Or you hustle the system. You hustle the system well. And what I'm getting at, if you hustle and polite, really polite, I think you can get doors opened for you that otherwise might not. So thanks a lot for being that example of someone who's done it well. And look how well dressed you are as well, so thank you for that. So, and welcome aboard as one of the mentors. Now, you and the class are also aware that because you're still studying towards your first degree, you're not able to assess. This is just, it's good. It's good so you have a certainty of quality and equity of assessment as well. So, you're welcome to sit down for the rest of the presentation or head off if you like. No worries. You all know, you're all here. It's all right. We're all in the same theatre for our 3 lectures a week, and I do use lecture capture. If you're not, if you can't, I shouldn't say this, but I can't help myself. If you rather use this hour to work on your assignment, go to D207, maximise your assignment mark, that's okay. I sort of get a bit sad if no one turns up, but that's my shit, not yours. The lecture capture exists. You can use it if you want. However, I do get a bit cross if you don't turn up to the drop-in sessions where you actively get opportunities to learn in a mentored environment, which is my favoured mode of learning, which is why it's where I put, if you like, the budget associated with the subject, into people like the 2 people I've just introduced you to. That's where you will get active learning. So turn up to those sessions. Secondly, please turn up en masse to the guest presentations. We're like a family, me and you, Melbourne Uni folk, and these external people come in. I want them to feel like they've been welcomed. And the way to do that is to turn up. I can promise you that all 3 presenters are great. I've made my mistakes in the past with people that have got lots of technical skill but are useless when it comes to presenting. So I can promise you that all 3 of these people will be great and you'll enjoy what they've got to say. So there's the schedule. That's us up there. Plenty of stuff to do. That white space there is where we don't have the design drop-in sessions. DP4, I'll quickly talk about that. I would love to give you until the Monday after to submit DP4, but I'm not allowed to because as soon as we get into SWOT back, it's no assessment time. So there's a bit of interesting fiddle-faddle going on at that stage of the semester, which is still a fair while away. Don't forget, it's just a draft. I send emails or just send me an email. Hey Colin, is it still happening? And your uncertainty is probably shared by many others. So I'll say, yeah, okay. And I'll share my answer with the class. So you don't have to be, I don't want you to be worried about stuff that can be answered just by asking me. You know, get that out of the way, focus on the assignments, focus on the active learning. Now, everything I've talked about until this point is accessible, including the 3 guest presenters. Everything in that lecture. Ariana Henderson, who's a magnificent presenter, and also really bright in her area of expertise, which is soft skill development, is going to tie off this week's worth of lectures. On Wednesday, functional teams seminar. I'll ask you to work in teams. I want you to have some foundation knowledge so that you can work well in a team. You know, it's not personal. It's about how the team performs to get an outcome. Here, the outcome is a great mark. In practice, the outcome is a successful contract, a successful product or system or whatever it might be. Something that you're being paid to do as a practitioner. And you're doing it in a professional way. Soft skills are, I've learned over my time on this planet, they are really, really, really important. I said it yesterday to the third years, and you might have forgotten if I've already told you. Every company boss I've ever spoken to talks about, can the students, speak in sentences? Can the students write a report? Are the students okay in teams? Have the students got a bit of something else beyond being good at maths and science? I continually get that, which is from them, which is why I continually push it out to you. A guy, he was leaning back in his chair at a meeting of this type, 20,000 employees. He talked about, anyone above 70% GPA, grade point average, they go into the in-tray. Then we start sifting through the in-tray, looking for what else, what beyond the marks that person has to offer, potentially, the company. So, the graduate that has stuff beyond being good at maths and science will stay in that in-tray. Let's just say you love maths and science and that's it. That's life. That's okay as long as you're one of the best. And I can't tell you the exact numbers, but let's just say there might be 1, 2, 3 people in this room for whom soft skills doesn't matter. You might have you just want to not talk to anyone, just want to solve problems all day. And you can, you're good at it. You might get a job doing that, and they'll ignore all those other lacks. Let's say the inability to engage with a larger organisation. But there will be a minority, a very, very small minority. So that's why I'm spending a bit of time on this with you. 10% of all assignments have a presentation component, so they've got to be well presented. So I'm going to get Ariana to give you a bit of education about that, a bit of learning about what we're going to look for. And teams especially, this semester and especially next semester, and especially in capstone project, and when you're a graduate, will be important. So even if you've attended the seminar before, it won't hurt to come again just to get a refresher. The team's presentation, by the way, is meant to be at a bit higher standard than what you got in Mechanical Design 30014. Now, I'll keep going. We're now off administration and into thinking about what you're going to do. There's a map. It indicates the breadth of what design is about. There's another one. There's no single way that all this stuff is presented. It's just trying to indicate the breadth of what's going on. And a third. And my colleague and friend Bruce Field's mega concept or mud map for what design, in particular mechanical design, is. So what we're going to be doing this semester in terms of identifying nodes within that map and me educating you a little bit about those nodes. Well, we're going to look at materials within predictive tools. That's our first topic, our first lecture series. We're going to look at some structural integrity or machine element design. So a few bits and pieces in that zone. And by the by, I've already sort of given you a hint on that. It's not just solving tutorial problems. You'll be exposed to how the depth you might something as simple as a thin-walled pressure vessel. And that's what John's going to be talking about. And lastly, the quality one with Philip Chen and myself. So again, a whole semester's worth of teaching, and I haven't got a slide with all the red circles of all we're going through, but you know, within the realm of what design is, from Bruce's mud map, we're just getting a few items, not the whole lot. And that's something to continually reflect on. That even when you've finished your 5-year master's program here, there'll still be plenty of stuff that hasn't been covered. Plenty of stuff still to learn. And by the way, this is a bit about Phillips. He'll be talking about this sort of stuff. Quality. And excuse me, the Kano or Kano model. It's an interesting thing. How well something's executed, how satisfied or dissatisfied, two different axes, you know, it's emotive stuff, human stuff, but we are designing for humans, we are designing for society, to make society a better place. And what's amusing is that no matter how well you can market milk, you will never get really excited about it. You're either neutrally satisfied or dissatisfied. Whereas fancy stuff, exotic stuff, whether it be the latest foldable mobile phone with a hinge, or whether it be a fancy sports car, or whatever it might be, luxury items, which is where the big profit margins are, by the way. That's where we're going for this idea of excitement. And people are prepared to pay more for excitement. Now, when it comes to building a bridge, or building a building, or a large-scale infrastructure project, maybe that excitement stage or phase is not there as much. It might be closer to being the milk. But that's okay. This is just an idea, giving you a landscape of what's available, what's possible, in the idea of quality and successful design outcomes. DP1, no design drop-in sessions this week. So, and point that I don't write up on the screen, this is not my first draft. This is not the end, it's only the start. You know, at the end of week 2, we might get to a point, as a collective, all of us, where we've got to change things around a bit. And I'll happily do that, because after all, this is your subject. You know, if you think, oh, I'd rather have more people, more tutors at one session than another, that's okay by me. That's all that is to be said. Students might ask, can we get CES onto our own personal computers? I'm sorry, no. CES, or Cambridge Engineering Selector, it's proprietary, it's boutique type product. And as I said, the School of Engineering's only got 100 licenses, not a site license. So a little bit, this slide is put up because I often talk about the design process in general, starting with the idea of something negative. You know, there's a problem, an issue, a bug, a concern. That is something that makes people unhappy, wherein the engineering designer can step in and either solve that, remove the bug, remove the issue, improve the situation, make things better. But the wording up here is very nice in that it's a positive start. We foresee a desirable solution. So we're okay, but we'd like to be better. Which is a nice way of, just another way of thinking about what design is. We plan for something and we realise that's something. We make decisions. And everything, a lot of what I said, even when I was introducing your tutors, that idea that, make a decision. Say, I'm going to knock on Colin's door and hustle him to get to be a tutor, get a casual contractor this year. I want to make my situation a bit better. I foresee a desirable situation. It doesn't have to be making stuff. It doesn't have to be steel and plastic and carbon fibre. It can be how you just live with others. Now, on that idea of making decisions, just keep on the clock. Excuse me. The Victoria's desalination plant. It exists. It pumps out a bit of water now and then for us as a state. And as a government, Victoria made a decision that this was what we would have, what would be built A French company built it and we're going to be paying them money for an awful long time. Now, the question I'm asking is it an example of good design decision making? And if we're talking about being conservative as a society, other people have done it, seems to work okay, we're risk averse. Politicians are always going to be risk averse, so that don't want to be courageous. They like pretending that they're courageous, but decisions should minimise the risk of failure, is what I'm getting to. Now, a young person, there he is up there, and there he is there. Oh, sorry, there he is up there. I haven't got a bigger photo of him. Has put out a couple of videos. They're a few years old now, but it was just putting forward an alternative proposition. And one of the big things that he talked about was, if you're going to have an inquiry, this was back in 2009, a big inquiry into the future of water security, you'd think that the brainstorming phase would go far and wide. There'd be lots of, dare I say, kooky, crazy ideas put on the table that would then you'd get technologists and others in to assess the merits of some of those crazy ideas and see if there was anything in it that would be able to be, say, cost effective, quicker, cleaner. We use coal to create electricity to power that desalination plant. Now, one idea that this young man was talking about, that someone suggested, why don't we install a water pipe between Tasmania's west coast and Victoria? The west coast of Tasmania gets huge amounts of rainfall. The east coast is in a bit of a shadow, so it doesn't get as much. There are huge lakes in the west coast that just let water flow out into the ocean. 60 metre head, some of these lakes are 60 metres above sea level. There's lots of, I'm just throwing some stuff out there that you think, that's worth it. You just have laminar flows, that's not very high friction. You might not need pumps. There's a few things there. Now, options like that were rejected very quickly, and there's a copy of this document, this report, up on the website for you to look at. Now, that's it. It's a multi-hundred, there we go, page 313 to 366. That's how much they put into alternative strategy, or that alternative strategy. Not a 10-page summary, or someone did 20 pages worth of calculations and then decided that it wasn't worth pursuing. Politicians just stop very quickly. Now, I'm going to make a bold assertion here. I have no inside knowledge, that part of this is due to a lack of technical expertise at the decision-making table when this report was being produced. Opportunity. It's just the sort of thing where soft skills, the capacity to walk in and say, hey, I'm an engineer. I can contribute to this decision-making process and would like to, in one form or other, may have resulted in this being a little bit better. Okay, I'll keep going. Legal competition influences is what I'm just focusing on from this broad range of influences. And this is just an issue. Design is about creating new stuff, innovating, and hopefully making profit through that innovation. Although a few years ago now, there was the first person in Australia to produce LED truck lights. And he was making lots of money out of it because they used a lot less power, trucks could put a lot more lighting on there all over themselves without running down the battery too much. So he did very well until, and let's just say another company, thought, hey, we'll pinch that idea and just produce them ourselves at a cheaper rate, and because we don't have the development costs, the first person did that, and we will be able to get a market share. Well, what I've written, there's always someone ready to exploit or steal someone else's good idea, whether it be a patent or a registered design. And I've got a friend, Bruce, who I mentioned before, he now does a lot of patent law as his retirement profession. And he says that a patent, even though they cost huge amounts of money, they are only of any value when they've been tested in court. So they cost a lot of money to put in place, and then as soon as someone else who might have deeper pockets, that is more wealthy than you are, does their own thing with your patent idea, you have to go and challenge them at more expense, which can be a problem in itself. I'm not expecting you to read those articles, but the point being that this is something that is a problem. Now, if you have software or firmware and you can, lock it up on a chip that no one can easily interrogate, that's pretty easy. Or if you can have a product, and I'll be talking about this later on, where it's so damn obvious in a mechanical sense that that's a good idea. Like the first person who produced a paperclip. Simple, and yet the second person who tried to produce a paperclip, everyone would say, that's just like what the other person did. Everyone can see that it's the same thing. So it's either super sophisticated, hidden, or so obvious, everyone else thinks, why didn't I think of that? I could have been a rich person now. That's, where patenting and design, that you can register a design, it's cheaper, can be done. And the last example before I stop and let you go, or have a meet and greet session down the front, is the Joint Strike Fighter, or F-35, or Lightning, which Australia has is one of a consortium of countries that's buying it. There's been a lot of controversy over the years, and I'll add to it here and now. I assert that this platform failed because it tried to be too much. It tried to be, broadly functional rather than narrowly functional. Now that's we could have a debate down here about this. Do you want a series of, when I say platform, I mean, like kill machine. Should like an armed forces, have a distinct platform for a very narrow, focused job, or not? When the company was selling this idea, they were going broad. And they convinced a lot of people that this idea of having a broad specification was a good thing. Well, that was a few years ago, and an awful lot of people, myself included, have been able to use it as a point of criticism for this particular idea. Now, normally, I'm a big fan of broad. Broad design, broad specification means lots of different people might want to use it, want to have it, want to buy it. It's good to have an elegant design that can do a lot of things within the same platform. But military technology is always cutting edge. They found out that they had a lot of problems. And an awful lot of the problems were beyond the mechanical and in the software side of things. I assert that software design and the management of software design, it's an area of, we're in the classroom, but I assert that's an area of opportunity. Every time you hear about a new system coming online, whether it be the mighty public transport system in this state, or that platform, they talk about, software glitches, software problems. I think, if only they could get that right. Well, we've got our first two planes delivered into Australia. They were on display and flew around at the Avalon Air Show just now. But this is what I want to focus on. 3 variants. This is part of that broad difference. Same body, 3 variants. Conventional takeoff and landing, short takeoff and landing, and carrier-based. They wanted this platform to be like a Harrier jump jet in part. That is, that it could go straight up and straight down, land like a helicopter. Now, look at all of the infrastructure associated with the engine. There's the standard engine, and they call them the roll posts. That bit there, and there's another one on the other side. They're like stabilisers out on the wings to push thrust downwards to keep the plane stabilised. And then they've got to have essentially a drive shaft driving another turbine, pushing air down to maintain this hover. There it is there. Now, you've got all that extra weight, all those extra bits that could fail, and you want a platform that's nimble, and they talk about fighter planes so it can zip around and turn quickly, but it can't turn quickly when it's got all that extra weight in it. Trying to do too many things is my point, and nothing more. And I wish I had someone here that could give me the counter argument, but this stuff, I'm putting these as open questions for you to think about. Did I talk rubbish just now, or did I make a bit of sense? Is there a counter-argument that would overwhelm what I'm saying? Now, sure, this plane, in this form, is fantastic for getting into areas, being refuelled, going again, in areas where there's, like the airstrip's been blown away, or there is no airstrip. Yay! But is that what everyone wants? The US Marines wanted that platform, or that variant, which is why it's there, so that they can come on board and pay some money, with that being as part of it. More so, the structure of the aircraft has to be such that it can accommodate that particular variant. Even if you're having one of the types of planes, where are we? The variant A, let's say, which we've got, where we just use conventional airstrips. Things for you to think about as you move into your design careers. I'm done. Thank you, and I'll see all of you for Ariana's first presentation tomorrow. Everyone else, haven't got a team, you don't know anyone in the room, come on down. You've got a couple of minutes.